Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings here on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am Lotro's Community Manager Cordovan, and I'm going to be here for the next hour just doing some Q&A. I'm going to have some release notes for you, and I'm going to be heading over probably the latter half of the show over to Landreval to do a little bit of wedding stuff. I did see the grand wedding. I will not be spoiling the grand wedding here, even though I know you've had an opportunity to take a look at it. But for those of you who have not, I will not be spoiling the great wedding here tonight, the ceremony. But I think I will be probably spoiling the dinner afterwards, maybe. Either that or I'm going to do a little bit of midsummer questing. So, spoiler alert for the latter half of the show. But we're going to be doing a little bit of kind of news and information. And like I said, I think I even got some release notes I could share with you here in just a couple of minutes. I am live on the air, aren't I? Oh my gosh, I guess that means people can see me. All right. So it's been a bit, hasn't it? First off, thank you. I'm back from vacation. I will probably be taking vacation again in the relatively near future. But been a couple of weeks, so hey, welcome everybody. How you doing? Well, this Court of the Rings will be interesting. Oh, I know. Yeah, you're definitely getting the Cordovan has not had a lot of sleep edition of the Court of the Rings here today. We had some server issues that began yesterday and cascaded into quite the late night for us at Standing Stone Games, who were working hard to resolve an issue at our data center. Ended up being, well, actually, I think a lot of us are frankly have woken up within the past couple of hours, but are still taking a look as to what exactly happened. But we had some kind of hardware issues at the data center. Ended up impacting several servers first, and then cascading until all the worlds went down later this past evening. And then in the early morning hours, we were able to get everything up, running, and stable again. So thank you, everyone, for your patience on that. I know it was challenging times. It sucks when it is the evening, when it's your game time, and we're taking it away from you. Sorry. But anyway, that happened. So we're kind of going, really, I guess what it's been about 10 hours since we brought the worlds back up, and so we're back to work, and our technical operations people are investigating. The only real outstanding piece at this time that I can pass along to you is we have temporarily disabled world character transfers. We just don't want people transferring characters until we make sure that everything is all nice and stable. So once that gets done, we'll resume character transfers probably within I don't know, maybe even by the end of the day. Probably by the end of the day. Maybe not by the end of the day. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll announce it. Could be by the end of the day. Well, so unfortunately, Squirrel, some EU primetime was absolutely affected. Yesterday afternoon, Eastern time, their primetime. Unlike, say, Crick Hollow and Brandywine, Arkenstone. Some on Evernight actually as well, so that was most directly them. And so we apologize for that as well. Hardware issues, but I don't actually know more about what they are. They were throwing around some terminology early this morning that I would not want to share until I had a better understanding of what the heck they were talking about. There's real dilithium crystal stuff, so... I too am glad that we are back. Wow, I have a lot of people watching on Facebook right now. I guess a lot of people want to hear me talk about downtime last night. Sorry about that. Also, thanks for representing Portugal there. Nice to see someone in chat. Hello from the Czech Republic. Hello from Virginia. Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you here. Yep, just in time for Weatherstock to stress test Landy tomorrow. That's true. Weatherstock is tomorrow on Landreval, and I've always found their main page of weatherstock.guildlaunch.com to be probably the easiest and fastest source to get to the information you're looking for related to Weatherstock. LoChoArtists.com is always really great for concert information as well, but that is happening tomorrow, and that's going to be broadcast thanks to Druid's Fire and crew. I believe there are a couple of people that are going to be involved in that broadcast. I will not be there tomorrow. I apologize. I'm sorry. These weekends, especially in the summer, tend to get real busy, and so I'm unable to attend. But we've given out codes, so I know that there's some really cool titles to get. We're kind of retiring the old school Weatherstock titles, as we've kind of talked about in, I don't know, lots of episodes over the years, in favor of a more generic community event focused titles. This would be something that I can actually give out to all sorts of community events, rather than trying to allow for titles for specific events. We've done two, and that would be Weatherstock and Harnkegger over the years. Unfortunately, Harnkegger kind of went defunct recently, and we also have a lot of different kinds of events. And so it made a lot more sense for us to want to support events rather than, say, a specific event in terms of titling. So I gave Adon, we have, in some cases, several hundred titles of the old Weatherstock titles left, but the intention is to retire those at the end of that. However, they've been so plentiful that if you don't have one, I think there's a pretty good chance that you can still get yours, as it were. I will leave that up to Adon. Druid's Fire, you're in chat, hopefully, here. I just wanted to say, could you give me the broadcast rundown on what is happening tomorrow and where it is happening? Is that on your personal, or is that on LoChoStream? That's on LoChoStream. And is that for the entirety of the event, or what's going on there, right? I'm pretty sure it's on LoChoStream for the entirety of the event, but I don't want to commit you guys to that until someone actually tells me that's true. But that will be on twitch.tv/LoChoStream tomorrow, to go check out Weatherstock there if you would like. And LoChoArtists.com is the one we have Moobot linked to. That's a great place to go. LoChoArtists.com will have all sorts of info on Weatherstock for you. In terms of what caused the outage, really the most I want to say at this point is that we had a bunch of hardware issues at our data center that ended up plaguing us throughout the night. It started off impacting several servers and then cascaded over the course of about 4 hours, I guess, 4 or 5 hours or so, until all the worlds ended up being brought down. And not just Locho, by the way. Until we were able to get everything restored for about 2 a.m. Eastern this morning. And that was a data center issue that our technical operations and other people are currently investigating as to a cause. But probably some kind of hardware thing happened at the data center. Hardware thing is the official Cordovan response as to what the problem was over the last 12 hours. So, what is a data center? Oh, that's a great question. Someone on Facebook who's saying, yeah, I don't know this tech stuff. This is basically where we have all the game servers, the hardware / environments that the game worlds actually live on, is at a data center. All right. Well, let me go on now that it's 10 minutes in here. I think let's just go on. I'm not seeing any chat on YouTube, so either I'm not going live on YouTube, but I saw myself there. So let me know if you're seeing chat there, YouTube. Oh, here we go. I just had to hit F5. You're all there. Okay. Hi, Matt, Rolf, Kev. We should get a bonus XP weekend, maybe, but I not this weekend. We just don't have time to put that together at this point. Can we have a one-day extension of the crafting XP bonus? I don't think we're just going to be... because of time, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. There is a crafting XP bonus of plus 25% happening through Sunday. It gets shut off at Monday, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Tripped over a cord. Yep. Has the half-price LP promotion ended the polls? I can tell you what is currently going on. That is summer sales. Our week 3 stuff is 35% off account-wide mounts, 50% off High Elf and Beorning, 75% off Premium Wallet. This is all through July 23rd for our third week of the summer sales, special discounts in July. Prepare for battle, so 25% off stat tomes, regen food, run speed boost, attack damage boost through July 23rd. The weekly coupon, Tact Mit 25, Tact Mit 25 for a tactical mitigation tome times 25 for 90 minutes. I can also tell you that we're working on a patch for next week. So that's really the crux of what I wanted to... Oh, actually, there was one thing I wanted to get to before I get to the Update 27.2 release notes. Thank you for keeping me on track, everyone. Choo-choo, the train is just back on the rails, as it were. So, we've extended the Midsummer Festival. That is now through July 26th. We have extended the Midsummer Festival. That happened while I was on vacation. Due to us wanting to give you more time to get the wrapper quest done. So the Midsummer Festival is taking place now through July 26th, shut off on the 27th at 3 a.m. Eastern. Now, it is time for the update 27.2 release notes. I have actually just put them into an open office document. And I'm going to be sharing that document with you today. This is going out for localization and translation really later on today, and so that's why it's in a document form like this. But because it was fairly easy to display it on using XSplit, so let's just do it that way. We've got a patch that we're working on for next week. That would be update 27.2. That's Helm's Deep on the Legendary Worlds. So, next week, Helm's Deep on the Legendary Worlds. There you go. Yeah, those headlines. So that's happening. Experience the finale of Rohan's epic journey. I'm not going to repeat that. It is the same basic marketing text that we've always used. However, the Helm's Deep also utilizes the Storied Tales, you may recall, introduced in Update 27 a few weeks ago, which is a soloable, story-focused alternative to an epic battle. Do you like Helm's Deep, but perhaps are not so enthused about going back to epic battles? Well, have we got a solution for you? It is called Storied Tales, and that actually debuted with Update 27 here, but it was done in preparation for Helm's Deep being released on the Legendary Worlds, which will be happening next week. Probably middle of next week would be what I would target for an approximate opening of Helm's Deep on the Legendary Worlds of Anor and Ithil, which is free to VIPs, does require a subscription. Rohan Housing is the other big thing of that which we can talk about here. Oops. How did that get on there? The Lord of the Rings Online is expanding its premium player housing options with 2 new homesteads set in Rohan. These homesteads evoke 2 quintessential Rohan experiences, Kingstead Meadows and Eastfold Hills. Kingstead Meadows features living on grassy plains and farmlands, while Eastfold Hills features living in the rugged and wooded foothills. Each neighborhood has an assortment of deluxe-style properties, along with 2 unique properties, a large mead hall and a deluxe-style property with an extra interior. So what that means... premium neighborhoods. The neighborhoods are going to have some awesome stuff. That includes a mead hall, which is available for somebody to purchase. There are also just some general things in the neighborhoods that you'll enjoy kind of hanging around, like a lighthouse. Or not a lighthouse, a windmill. Like a lighthouse, but on land. No, a windmill is, I believe, the proper term. Windmill. Your Rohan style house is going to come with a stable and some other cool things too. Hitching Posts, a new hook that allows you to show off mounts from your collection. Cosmetic pets can be hooked on most interior and exterior hooks. Movable light sources. These new hooks allow players to light rooms the way they want. Fire pit hooks. This is a new and uniquely sized hook for the Rohan mead halls. Column hook. The column hook acts like a wallpaper option for columns only within the Rohan mead hall. Same with the one above, the fire pit. That's mead hall only. There's a few that are like that. New per house storage. This is a new housing storage option separate from shared housing storage. This again is a 27 feature in preparation for this, a kinship visit feature. Players can now designate a primary residence. Their kinmates can visit from the kinship panel. That might be a way to say get people into the mead hall that you have. Or just your general house in general, because it's awesome. Multiple interiors. Each Kingstead homestead has a main house and a barn, and both neighborhoods have a single homestead of a unique additional interior. Main house, barn. Both neighborhoods have a single homestead of a unique additional interior. Neighborhood reputation. First homesteads each have their own rep, where homeowners can advance their neighborly notoriety in the community while unlocking new housing items and player titles. Cosmetic pets, per house storage, and the kinship visit feature are available for every house, while the other features are exclusive to Rohan Housing. And I've got that click here because we're going to have a landing page next week when we go within probably, so let's say 24 hours of going live-ish. Hopefully within 24 hours of going live. Next week, we're going to have a page on Rohan Housing that's going to have some screenshots and things like that. So you can look forward to that. We also have a bunch of classwork, frankly, that ended up in 27.2. So before I move on to that, just take a quick look at the chat here. When does the new housing come out? This will be available for Mithril. It's a premium service, and it'll be next week when we release update 27.2. Probably somewhere around the middle of the week is what I would target for a release date on update 27.2. And we're going to have the downtime and such more formally next week. But Rohan Housing arrives next week along with Helm's Deep on the Legendary Worlds. Can we see the ranking from the server Bombadil? Ashakra on YouTube says yes. As a matter of fact, and I'm sorry, by the way, this is the guy who's got to do some work. I plan to get the Bombadil leaderboards up as soon as I can. I took a look at the spreadsheet we are using for the Register of Deeds yesterday, and everything looks good. So it's just a matter of formatting that into kind of a Lotro.com page and then getting that published. I was hoping to kind of do it by the end of this week, but then we had things like update 27.2 release notes, a Rohan Housing landing page, and frankly about a day's worth of downtime announcements due to unexpected issues that cropped up yesterday. I just don't think I'm going to get time to get it done this week. I think Friday is going to be gone, and then it won't be published yet. So I think that's going to have to be next week on the Bombadil leaderboards. We're also going to be reopening the world transfers from Bombadil in the near future. We're not ready to reopen world transfers yet, in part because of what we just experienced here. We want to make sure the environment is stable before we would introduce something like a mass world transfer rush from Bombadil. But we also wanted to make sure that we had preserved the end of the event before we start getting people transferring their characters off the world. My understanding is that work is largely, if not completely, done as of Friday here, 12:22 p.m. So that should be something that we'll be able to get done, let's say, probably next week as well. reopening Bombadil to character transfers. But we'll have more information, and we'll announce that when it's available. We will also tell you, or at least endeavor to tell you, when the final through date is to transfer your characters off of Bombadil. Will the race change token be available on update 27.2? I don't think so. There's still just a little bit more work to do to give it its kind of final polish before we get it out the door. I don't think that made it in time for 27.2. So that's going to be coming, I would expect, in the relatively near future, but probably not next week. I have noticed that soon has been replaced with in the near future. Is in the near future the new soon? I don't think so. Yes. It's the difference between the way I talk, my dumb way of talking, and the way other people talk, I guess. Because I use in the near future. I prefer it to soon. But I guess I use soon too. Is Bullroar back up? I don't believe so. I believe Bullroar is also currently unavailable, and again, that's due to the issues we had yesterday. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, and we were just like, should we prop over and get it up? And then I was like, no, get some sleep. Tech ops people who have been working for 24 hours straight or whatever. We'll deal with it in the morning, which is now the afternoon. But when it's 2:30 in the morning, afternoon quickly becomes your morning, doesn't it? I bet some of you know what that's like. So I guess the only, just in case I didn't make clear, the reason we extended the Midsummer Festival is to help people get a little bit extra time to complete their deeds, their weekly quests. Weekly quests. All right. I think we're actually pretty close to me just moving to the next bit of the notes, which is classes. Bjarning's opening of Valar Weapon Pack 120 will now receive a bow instead of a one-handed sword. Thunderous Roar's base cooldown reduced to 45 seconds. The legendary item set bonus cooldown reduction has been reduced to 15 seconds max. By the way, these notes are still in beta. They will be sent out later today. But still need some input from members of the team. So if some of the numbers may be inaccurate, some of the final wording may be there. There may even be a few notes that end up getting pulled or added between now and when we go live with update 27.2. Just a disclaimer, as it were, on these release notes that you're looking at. So, especially as we start getting into classwork, sometimes these numbers end up adjusting frequently prior to release. So take it with a grain of salt. Tier 5 of Opposing Presence now adds 10 seconds to Biting Edge's cooldown. Burglar. The wound effect applied by Enrage Clever Retort has been rebalanced. This effect was much too powerful. That's a bit of feedback we've been hearing for a long time now, frankly. Due to a combination of modifiers, it was not intended to benefit from and had too large a base effect multiplier. The effect has been renamed Malicious Wound for easier identification. Sorry. You know what had to be done. Captain, the kick skill is now earned at level 20 instead of 44. You're actually going to be hearing that a lot. The skill Cleanse Corruption, now granted at level 20, down from level 50. Improved Threatening Shout is now Elendil's Roar. Granted as a base yellow line skill, cooldown 60 seconds. Threatening Shout, now earned via a second tier yellow trait, replaces Strong Voice, no longer replaced by Improved Threatening Shout, can be learned by non-yellow captains. Elendil's Fury no longer grants a taunt to Blade of Elendil, instead reduces the cooldown of Elendil's Roar to 30 seconds and increases its area of effect to 10 targets. 10 targets. Champions, the Clobber skill, now earned at 20 instead of 30. Feral Strikes, 20 instead of 50. Horn of Champions now applies a Force Taunt effect on all targets it hits, in addition to prior effects. Deafening Horn increases Horn of Champions max targets by 2, up to 10. Guardian, skill improved sting, now granted at 20 instead of 50. Challenges cooldown now reduced by bellow trait. The challenge set cooldown bonus has been reduced to 6 seconds. With Hunter, the skill blindside, now a ranged immediate skill with a single attack hook. Yeah, some significant Hunter changes here. Its cooldown has been increased to 18 seconds. The skill Blood Arrow, now available at 20 instead of 50. Blood Arrow now removes corruptions. Merciful Shot no longer removes corruptions. Forcing hunters to enter melee combat in order to use their interrupt skill is not something we wanted to continue to do. So it's been removed as a requirement. We're basically just you don't have to do that anymore. Loremaster, the skill is Blinding Flash and improved Blinding Flash, now immediate. The skill is Spell Corruption, granted at 20 instead of 50, cooldown reduced. Minstrel, all versions of the skill Piercing Cry, now immediate. The passive trait Purify Corruption, granted at 20 instead of 50. Runekeeper, Final Word, 20 instead of 30. Final Word, improved Final Word, cooldowns reduced. Improved Final Word now removes 1 corruption from the target. A new skill called Speak No Evil removes corruptions from the target, granted at 20. Warden, a new skill called Shield Slam, granted at 20. It's an instant. Interrupts target inductions, cooldown 20 seconds. The skill's reversal and range reversal, now granted at 20 instead of 50. And that is a lot of class work, is it not? Let me check out the chat. Yes, Midsummer will be coming back. It'll work just like any other festival, which means that weekly kind of wrap requests and everything will be reset for the next time it comes back, which will be next summer. What is the reasoning behind making corruption removal skills available at level 20 when corruptions only come into play after 50? I think that is... I don't know the specific reason in terms of that, although I would guess it has to do with future plans, perhaps. Likely. Perhaps as soon as War of the Three Peaks. A bug where Hunter improved focus not increasing bow critical multiplier. Is that being addressed? I will need to take that back to Vastin and crew to see who might know more about that. Will the curator be available in the near future? I think so. I don't have a date to announce, but I actually heard someone talking about that recently. So, no ETA to announce on War of Three Peaks. Why were the in-league quests not part of this festival? I don't know. I don't know. I will have to get back to you on that. Let me see what else we have if we need to in regard to the notes. I know we did some item work. The flared hanging lantern, ornate hanging lantern housing deco from Midsummer will now hang at an appropriate height by default when placed on a ceiling hook. The Spear of the Storied Past will no longer unequip a shield when equipped, etc. The housing quests will now be available if you own any type of house. My understanding is some of those housing quests didn't work very well with the old Gondorian premium housing. And now will. Wenda Cranesville, the VIP Rewards Vendor, will be also available in the future. This is 27.2, most likely next week. Mickeldelving, Kellendim, and Thorin's Hall. Midsummer, locations Beehives, being adjusted for better placement. Interacting with hungry guards, now easier. The House of Lore is more wayward verses. Wedding supplies, quest items will appear more frequently and in more places. There are a lot more wedding supplies. Fireflies, 2. Toss a coin will now give a midsummer reward instead of a spring festival reward. We do have a bit of a change on Remerchant, the raid. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the name of that. Daughter of Thasaloon missed the first morale reduction in her sister's that came with 27, so that's been reduced now. Some landscape fixes done in just kind of little minor polish stuff. Custom appearance settings from Dimrill Dale Stablemaster have been removed, and I think I got a typo there. UI. We did a bunch of polish work on the Travel to Kinship members, the examination tooltip for Travel to Kinship members, house skill, and one kind of nice thing, the loc command has been modified to include the world name. This is as much for our benefit as it is yours. So there we go. That's what I've got at this point for the update 27.2 release notes, which will be set to go live next week. Kind of significant, don't you think? I thought there was a lot. I'm just working to get myself logged into the game world now. Let me take a look at chat. Toss a coin to your minstrel. Yes. Yes. I know what you're talking about. Are we planning to update PVMP anymore? Yes, that is the intention. That is the intention. The VIP perks have been massively useful. Thank you. Good to hear. Inley Gale Quest generally part of the 4 seasonal festivals only. That could be. That could be. What's up? There we go. Where do I want Bombadil input? Forum, email, other. Forums would be a great place to get some Bombadil feedback right now. We do have our team taking a look at that. I think the main, the first and foremost bit of feedback we heard from you is you will want it to be longer. 1 month is too short is probably the main bit of feedback that we've seen from people. I would say that we have also heard people would like us to do more to encourage it as a PvMP or PvP event, whether that be through some kind of incentive system for killing or place of standing leaderboard or something along those lines. That's another bit of feedback that we would have to consider, I think. And we also have heard a bit on the other side that perhaps we should lessen the focus a bit on PvP, since it is largely in its first iteration here deed focused, and really just make it a deed race. A formal deed race might be a way to go for a future month-long event style thing to do too as well. We've heard that from the community quite a bit. So actually some pretty good feedback, I think, overall on the Tournament of the Twins. I think those who took part in it seemed to enjoy it quite a bit. We did get quite a bit of positive feedback as well as critiques. Placing floral arrangements, huh? Okay. Heading up there. I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. For the moment, though, I am going to go. If I can find it again. And probably. Maybe we should do the dance area? Is that what you think? Maybe? Or go to the banquet hall. Yeah. I take the long way. I take the hard way to get up there. Where am I going? Why am... Okay. How late was I up last night? How do the cosmetic pet hooks work? Do you add a tome item into the slot? Do you add a skill? My understanding is you basically unlock, you get a thing that you apply to your steed that gives it basically a cosmetic hook, and then you apply that item to the cosmetic hook like you would anything else. So Estella Ali tells me there was some kind of issue with our DDO store or Lotro store for a brief period of time yesterday. I saw something about that as we were going through our server issues yesterday, but have not heard more. I know that as soon as we heard that, maybe too much was being discounted in the Lotro store, we immediately looked into it and made sure that that wasn't the case. And at the time that we did that check, it was no longer the case. So if it had been something that happened for a brief period of time at the very start of Thursday's sales, it isn't really clear what might be going on there.
And here I thought we hobbits had feasts all sorted out. And here I thought we hobbits had feasts all sorted out. And here I thought we hobbits had feasts all sorted out.
Big feast. So, I think that is the main stuff. Did I mention that we have a crafting bonus of 25% happening as well?
Those two hobbits insisted this be called a banquet for some reason or another.
Long into the night, the folk of the city made merry and celebrated the union of King Elisar and Queen Arwen.
Turn up my own volume slightly. Any ETA on Lotro points being purchased in the Lotro market? No. I would expect news sometime in the slightly more distant future on that. Don't bother listening to feedback. Scrap the whole system and fix PvMP. Okay, I will let the team know. I do agree, though. We are hoping to get to some PvMP work here. I just don't want to promise, especially given how seriously people want us to take that work. What do you think, Pip? What would old Flower Dumpling have to say about the courses on offer here? All right. Luis on Facebook, I am familiar with the NVIDIA app thingy that you were talking about. We have no plans at this time to support that. It is kind of neat though, but I don't think so. Bearnings are definitely OP, says Twitch chat. It's official, I guess. I'm actually just going to mute my mic for a minute. Sorry, I need coffee. Telerian, I am familiar with the bug you reference about the Stable Master and the Sages tier appearing to be labeled for the Players tier, etc. They're kind of like offset wrong. I don't believe that is well, I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but I think we're going to be correcting it at some point in the future. Maybe next Midsummer, but we'll see how we end up on that. There are not official Lotro plugins, Esteloli. That's a community benefit. The new legendary server was said to be coming this autumn, but since the letter we've heard had nothing. Any other information coming soon? The answer to that is no. In terms of, is there more information coming soon? But that is something that we are familiar with. You were talking about the Eye of Sauron server that was referenced in the Lochor Producers letter as of February. We haven't yet announced kind of what the formal dating and timing of that will be. Right now we're working on War of the Three Peaks. Now that this has been out the door for a little while and some patches are underway. But we haven't forgotten about it, and it is something that we are still intending to do. So I would expect to hear more about that probably later this year. We'll have more information about that. But we're going to be focusing our attention next on the War of the Three Peaks. All right. Talk to the wine steward downstairs. Okay. Nope. Oh no. Gosh, I'm the worst. I see no wine steward. Alright. The other downstairs, maybe. Nope, not that way. Oh. I bet it's this downstairs. Hello, wine steward. Alright. Ah, there you are, Stampion. I am pleased. The Prince of Dol Amroth gave you my message, for it is urgent. I did not know where else I might turn. There's something of a problem, you see, and I need you to ensure it does not get any worse. Some rough sorts have gathered outside. I'm afraid they might intend to disrupt the wedding feast. They were... hey, it's not my fault. Here, take these bottles of wine out to them. Could be that an offering of peace will send them happily on their way. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not my... Don't know any of these people. I have no idea why they would be calling for me. Yeah, I haven't done anything. I've been picking flowers, man. Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah, yeah. I'm aware of the context of what that's about. I was just playing it for laughs. But yeah, it's actually really nice. nice part of the wedding festival here. I've been busy with my son a lot in recent weeks. I share his custody, and so I get him during the summer when he's not at school. So we've been busy, and I've not had my personal game time basically goes down to near zero for a couple of months in the summer every summer. And so I did see the wedding event itself, and I've run around a little bit of the Midsummer Festival. I'm going to be doing more of that, I think, in the coming days, but my free time is unfortunately limited, so it's been kind of tough. But it's been fun to see that, and the Great Wedding itself went really, really well and looked great on the computer, and so does this. I want to give a shout out to the team who I know worked very hard on it, because I saw them do it, including working hard from home to get this all put together for you. So. Yes, the Midsummer Festival will return once a year, at least in probably July is the intention. June, July, we'll see. Alright, I think I'm going to just continue there. Oh, what an honor. Alright. Let's, I wish I could actually admin camera myself off on this, character to really kind of give Lady Arwen's dress here a nice look-see, but let me see if I can just kind of show off the outfits of this a little bit on my client. Make sure I'm actually set to ultra high DX11. I am. Okay. Oops. Sorry, Arwen. I did not mean to invade your personal space. Also listen to that music. Thank you very much, Bill Champagne, for doing the music for the Great Wedding here. I think it's exceptional. We will be getting it on YouTube as well. Don't know when. Maybe August. Maybe July. We'll see. But that is the intention. Hey, you know what? Let me take a screenshot here. I could perhaps use this for a stream title rather than my usual lazy self of not. Where is Faramir? Head table. Okay. That is not this. Head table, there we are. He told you not the subject of our discussion? He is more subtle than I expected, or perhaps it is the hand of his queen that makes him so. Ah, Stampion, you are a friend, so I will speak freely. Yeah. He likes Eowyn. Alright, there we go. Just about ready to wrap up the stream here. I understand that I am going to be handing off Lotra stream here to one Druid's Fire rather than one Corey Olsen. Corey is otherwise occupied doing some various things, so Druid's Fire will be taking over. Now remember, again, we do have Weatherstock taking place tomorrow. Right? What day is it today? This is tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow the 18th on twitch.tv/LotraStream. Please stop by if you're in-game hanging out, want to just see some music, see what's going on Landreval. Otherwise, go to Landreval. You can certainly do that too. And that's at weatherstock.guildlaunch.com, or go to lotroartists.com, and they'll have a whole bunch of Weatherstock info for you there. Plus 25% crafting weekend going on. We do have the Midsummer Festival extended through July 26th. We have got update 27.2 in the works for next week. That includes Helm's Deep on the Legendary Worlds and Rohan Housing debuting. We will have the release notes and downtime probably sometime by mid next week, so stay tuned for that. And we will have a Rohan Housing kind of landing page that's going to be in the works here as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Hope you're enjoying the great wedding, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.